Om Shri Ganeshaya Namo Namah. Greetings to everyone world over, all our brothers and sisters across the globe. Wherever you are, it's a green morning, it's a green afternoon, it's a green evening, and we hope you're taking care of your health, your wellness, your friends, your neighbor, your family, your community, your society, your civilization. And when we talk about Vasudha Kutumbakam, the whole world is one family. Right from 25th of March 2020, we have come a long way because 25th March 2022 has just gone. So the world has moved on, and particularly health sector, wellness sector, education sector, all the challenges which we have overcome. In fact, one of the surveys showing that whatever India was to achieve in the next 10 years in technology and education, they have done in 2 years. So necessity is the mother of invention. We all got to move on. We got to see further what we can do. So hearty welcome to the green morning and to the green afternoon and to the green evening with our Indian diaspora brothers and sisters across the globe in different countries. Today is Sunday, 27th of March, 2022, and it's 4 minutes past 8 p.m. in India. Of course, technology is going to play a very important role. And during this particular pandemic, we took 3 buzzwords: making education relevant. And now further, we have taken 3 more words post-pandemic: preparing global educators. So that is the way we are moving on. Golden Triangle, what we used to call Delhi, Agra, Jaipur, now it is making education relevant. And the post-pandemic is preparing global educator. Artificial intelligence, augmented reality, big data, machine learning, blockchain, all the technologies, they are going to play a very important role. And the concept of digital university, which has been announced by the Honorable Prime Minister, that's a great vision. It will help particularly the rural interiors and far-flung areas, non-accessible throughout the year, much better if there is a connectivity. International Chamber for Service Industry extends a very warm welcome to you, and we are very happy to share. Since 1994, we have been having Pravasis together, and we are very happy to share that we are the part of basically the formulation 2003 Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, which started in India. During pandemic, teachers and the youth empowerment had been our focus. And every day we have got a webinar in the evening at 8 o'clock, that is Indian Standard Time. And besides that, there are a couple of additional programs on Sunday, because Sunday morning, India's morning, 9:30, we have got a direct telecast from Woodbury University, Burbank, California. And nowadays we are covering up holistic leadership. And recently on 20th of March, imagine today is 27th March, last Sunday, we had the NRIs and the Indians together on a common platform, and we discussed about the vision on digital university of the new age. What are the opportunities and what are the challenges? We had eminent, distinguished, honorable vice chancellors. And besides that, we had a couple of non-resident Indians also, along with Media Entertainment Sector Skill Council CEO. The future of education and technology when we talk about. When we talk about future of education and technology, ladies and gentlemen, the dream and the vision and the efforts of ICSI is we have to reach the last child in the last village, in the last milestone, wherever they are. Coming from the uniform background, I've seen the closely, the people, those are near the border areas. Certain places are climatically such a harsh climate and weather conditions are there that they are non-accessible throughout the year. You can well imagine those children also have dreams, and it is only and only digital technology which can help us to reach that last mile, the last child, and the last school. Now, 2 years, children have been very kind. They have been very cooperative. They were with their parents at their residences. and they have shown tremendous patience. And now, when the schools, colleges, universities, institutions, corporate sector, everything is opening up in phases slowly and gradually, there's anxiety, there is a stress, there's an unknown kind of a fear, and people have apprehensions. And everybody thinks, what is next? What is the next wave? When is it coming? How the things are? Is the world getting back to normal, what it used to be in February 2020, or should we have to move on? As a part of 75 years of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we are bringing a special program with 75 experts from media entertainment industry, from radio, television, theater, music, films, games, augmented reality, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, cyber security. All of them, they will be together with us on a common platform soon. That is with the Media Entertainment Skill Council under Government of India, Ministry of Skill Development. Our chamber is bringing this program. It's going to be a day-long deliberation where everybody will talk about 10 minutes each. We'll start early morning and we'll finish late evening to accommodate all the continents and all the countries wherever our experts are. So almost about 75 people we are trying to package in a day to take on. Now, competencies for the global teachers. What is the challenge? What basically corona or pandemic or mutant virus, when we talk about what it has given to the world? There's a new order. Whatever we are teaching today, should it hold relevance tomorrow by the time children pass out? Secondly, when the children have got all the gadgets, everything is there, and education has undergone a tremendous kind of a change, multiplier change, you can say. There was a time when education was only teacher-centric, blackboard-centric. Whatever information given to you, it's a gospel truth, you just take it. From blackboard, we move to the whiteboard, whiteboard to the digital board to the desktop, desktop to the laptop, laptop to the mobile, mobile to the edtech platforms. And of course, there are more than 5 lakh apps available today when we talk about education field. Now, how there is going to be a globalization of our classroom, how we are going to connect to the whole world, and teachers, they are also going to be the co-learners with the students now because they got to adopt something new with the technology. Indian teachers learning, innovation in education, when we talk about 19,000 B.Ed colleges, 20 lakh teachers getting trained and churned out every year. If you have got 20 lakh people, our chamber has done the survey and we contacted the relevant concerned authorities. The requirement per year for the new teacher, keeping in account the retirement and some new people, new classroom, new teachers, we don't require more than 3 lakh teachers. So there's a surplus pool of 17 lakh. At the same time, because education is a state subject, so it depends on the state government. When do they fill the post? When do they conduct their exams? When do they have new teachers? Whether they're going to be ad hoc or permanent? How long will they remain on temporary basis? So there are different norms. There are different boards which we have to take into considerations, and there are different parameters. How to prepare these teachers? There are new edtech platforms. During 2021 itself, 9,000 plus edtech platforms they have come up with regard to education. Mobile apps, I've already discussed, more than 5 lakh education mobile apps are available today. Well, we have to take on different themes. Like Sunday, we are basically with the non-resident Indians and we bring Indian diaspora. Every Monday, we have got a concept from Scandinavian countries that is called Human Library. It started in year 2000 in Denmark, where you get senior citizens, experts of different fields. They all come and they discuss their life journey. and we get some inspirations from them. So these living legends, every Monday, 8 p.m. Tomorrow, you'll be meeting Major General N.P. Singh, Visweswara Medal, who will talk his entire life journey, and you'll get a lot of leadership skills over there. Tuesday, we are having very special session that is preparing global educators. What are the career opportunities? What are the new avenues? How do you have to adopt the technology? How do we have to go by? ICSI's web portal, if you see the Chamber's web portal, you would be so happy to see that all the 17 goals of the sustainable development, when we talk about, they have been taken. And we are also bringing special conference soon with UNESCO that's going to cover all the sector, the 17 sustainable development goals, and education vertical 4 is also given special emphasis. Long time back, Napoleon Hill told, whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Let's come together. Let's make education and skill relevant. All of us, we got to work together. Ladies and gentlemen, during this pandemic, till this time, we have completed 1,514 webinars non-stop. And during the thick of the pandemic, we have been holding 5 to 6 webinars per day. And we wish to share with all of you that more than 12,000 speakers have come. Do like it, share it, and try and subscribe this YouTube channel so that you can see it for yourself, what all is coming up new in the education arena and how you can be a part of this particular segment of the economy, the global economy. You want to be teacher, you want to be counselor, you want to be coach, you want to be neuro coach, you want to be cellular coach, you want to be technocrat, you want to be specialized yoga teacher, meditation, wellness teacher, whatever you can think about. It's not that you should be only a specific subject teacher. And also, if you're a technocrat, we all got to move ahead. We got to think about it. And with these words, we extend a very warm welcome to Dr. PRIYA, Dr. Dinesh Mehta, and Dr. Ram Visji. And we are going to have the journey all the way coming from United States. We have got a golden triangle right from there. And ladies and gentlemen, join me in extending a very warm welcome to this trio. And I request Dr. PRIYA ma'am to take on further deliberations and discussions. And my special gratitudes and thanks to Dr. Dinesh Mehta. And of course, my deepest vanakkam, namaskaran to Dr. Ram Visji, because he had been in the thick of the pandemic with us. And it was such a beautiful deliberations. That time we had just started the Zoom journey. And a lot of people were telling, what is Zoom? And people didn't know what is Zoom. People knew by that time only the Google, and they knew Microsoft, and they knew Cisco. And thereafter the journey started. So we extend a very warm welcome. And I request Dr. PRIYA ma'am to take on further the deliberations. PRIYA ma'am, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Dr. PRIYA ma'am. Please go ahead.
Okay, wonderful. I just wanted to say thank you very much for having us. We are deeply grateful for the opportunity to work with you and to be part of the ICSI with you. And it's a wonderful day to be spending time together to do something uplifting for our teachers, our fellow Indians, our students, and the future generations of Indian children and global children to come who can be helped by Indian teachers. So I want to take a brief minute to introduce Dinesh Mehta ji. This gentleman is a serial entrepreneur in the technology area, and I had the privilege and the pleasure of meeting him just 2 weeks ago by Zoom. My friend Linda Evans introduced us. And Dinesh ji is the founding CEO of Nobler Huddles, which is an entity to reimagine knowledge exchange and communication. And he has made this platform available for free to over 40,000 students in India and through 250 educational institutions in India. And he also has other software companies and platforms that he has created. And I would like to welcome Dinesh ji to actually speak about his contributions and his current efforts on the front of how he's utilizing technology to deliver education to high school students in India, please. Thank you so much for joining us, Dinesh ji. Welcome.
Thank you. Yep, thank you very much. Really appreciate the opportunity. I'm not an educator by profession, although I did long time back as a graduate teaching assistant in Michigan. I had some experience teaching. Attempting to level the learning playing field has been a passion for a long time. It took me a while before I got to the education segment. Before that, my experience is all over the map, really, from chip design, chip testing, to digital video broadcasting, and now finally, I'm having the opportunity to at least do my little part in whatever I noticed that I think can be done a little bit better in empowering our young learners. So I have a very fundamental foundational belief that I'm trying to apply in the platform that we're building. I think that it's not the students across the world, particularly in India. I don't think the students are really failing. I think it's us as educators, us as parents, for the lack of a better word, who are failing our students. Every student has a capacity to learn. Every student wants to learn. Every student wants to succeed. Just a very natural phenomena. What we end up doing, and I'll just take a few minutes just describing the context to why we started to build what we are building. There is a very large middle body of students who we keep graduating from one grade to the next and to the next. And we are graduating our students with weak foundation. And when I say weak foundation, what I mean is that a teacher is doing their job. They have a limited time. They have a large curriculum syllabus that they have to get through. And by design, one teacher cannot address the needs of every student. It's just not possible. There is not enough time. So what ends up happening is that there are some students who are well prepared. There are some students who are not so well prepared for all kinds of reasons. Those reasons are not important, but that's a fact. And as the students sort of move from one grade to another, their foundation becomes weaker and weaker. And there comes a time when the students start to believe that they're not good enough, that they cannot achieve what some of the other students are achieving. And I believe that's criminal, that we have to be able to provide students with an ability to get better, do better, and they can. So in order to address that, there are two sort of fundamental things that I believe we need. And this is across sectors. It doesn't really matter whether it is physics, chemistry, math, biology, or there's any other upskilling subject matter. There are two things that we should have. One is that we must have exhaustive, deep, granular content that is created by some really good minds who are our teachers. And second, we must empower our students to be able to ask questions. If the students don't have an ability to ask questions, the learning is limited, incomplete at best.
I
So
agree.
how do we do that? So in order to achieve this paradigm, and just with my little background in video technologies, so before I embarked in education, I ran a company in digital video broadcasting space. So having done that, we understood video a little bit better and came to a conclusion that while almost everyone focuses on standard videos today to capture and then deliver learning content, it's not a great platform or technology, I should say, in order to enable interactivity. Delivering learning content, enabling the students to ask questions, enabling the teachers to answer these questions, or even the student community itself to contribute to the learning of each other. So we built this mechanism called object-based video that enables you to, or enables the students and the teachers to be able to articulate, illustrate, describe, communicate their chain of thought. And with that, we believe that you can empower not only the teachers to be able to communicate illustrated, described learning content, but also empower the students to be able to ask questions. And when I say questions, it's not simple questions like, I don't understand algebra, can you explain that to me? Those kind of things don't make any sense. But the students must be able to describe what they're struggling with, where is it that they're stuck, specific issues that they're facing, and then have a continued interconnected chain of thought. I asked a question, you answer my question, I have further questions on what you answered, and so on, and a dialogue continues. And that one should be able to navigate this dialogue and have contributions from various different sources. So I'm sorry for being a little long-winded, but I wanted to give you a little context in terms of why we think that we need to think a little bit out of the box. And of course, use everything that that we have learned so far and apply that in this platform. I'm also a very big believer that in last hundreds of years, that our teachers have honed their skills using very basic means like a blackboard or a whiteboard, as we were just talking about.
Yes.
I think there is a huge power in an instructor's ability to communicate learning content just through a standard whiteboard. I think that skill set or that mechanism should just not be abandoned. Technology can take all the learnings from there and make it better. And that's what we have attempted to do. So our foundation is really based on redefining what a whiteboard really means. A whiteboard used to be that I have a chalk and I write on a board. But why shouldn't we be able to innovate and say a chalk can write on or an instructor can use a chalk and write on a board, but everything that an instructor writes on a board becomes interactable content, for the lack of a better word. I should be able to interact. If an instructor says that, well, differentiate y with respect to x, well, I should be able to touch that object. I should be able to say, well, I don't understand what differentiation means, and take the user to differentiation. And if somebody then says, I don't understand what that means, I just need to understand what rate of change means, I should be able to take the user there. So wherever that level of comfort is, let's start the learner from that point, so they never feel that they're incapable of learning, because that's not true. I think everybody is capable of learning. It's just that we abandon them. So that's the platform we have built. And just finally, one final comment, that using this technology, we have now developed very deep and exhaustive learning content in math and sciences. we have started with that. So there are about 15 or so thousand modules that we have built. And our single goal is that we want to empower every learner, every high school student in India with a support platform, a Sherpa, that they can carry in their pocket on their mobile phones. So wherever they get stuck, whatever they don't understand, whatever they want to learn or clarify, they should be able to open up the application, push a button, find that, learn from there, and be able to ask questions from their peers, their seniors, their friends, their teachers, their parents, whoever, and provide that, whatever has transpires or what transpires in this Q&A sessions for the benefit of rest of the community, and then grow this exponentially so it can benefit the entire population. So that's sort of a 30,000 foot description of why and what and how we are attempting to help this process.
Wonderful. So with your permission, I would like to encapsulate what you said, because you and I have discussed this and you've explained it in great depth to me. But for the person who's just tuning in for the first time today, they may not understand what you're speaking about. So if I could just give an example to encapsulate what you said was there's a foundation that we're laying with these bricks in the learning of this child. But by the time the child comes to high school, 1 or 2 bricks are missing with science and math, and they feel that they don't have the skill set to achieve the highest level of knowledge or education. And what you're doing with your learning platform with 15,000 modules that are tailored to the child's missing bricks, that would fill in these missing bricks so that the child's foundation is just as strong as another child who has a very strong foundation. And that way, they don't graduate from high school thinking they have any less mathematics or science knowledge than a high achieving child that gets into IIT or some other place like that. That you have the options, you've made the options available to them, and you've given them the interactivity and the tools and the tracking to go back and find out exactly which brick in that proper succession chain went missing. So could you show us a little bit about your technology and how you have, that is this expanded whiteboard that you're talking about, that allows for interactivity throughout time and throughout other constraints that have been seen in the past with whiteboards or meetings. Could you share briefly a demo of that technology so that people who are watching can understand what the future of technology in education is looking like? Please, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
And I salute you for this amazing and awesome work that you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Priya. Okay, so I know we have limited time here, so I just wanted to give you a very quick feel for the foundation or the foundational platform.
Sure.
Like I said, that the whiteboard has been in existence, being used by people for God knows when. What we believe to be missing was that how do you treat the elements that make up or illustrate your chain of thought on the whiteboard. So it's not just written descriptive stuff. It's my voice, it's my video that then puts context in whatever I'm attempting to describe. So let's just say that I'm trying to describe to somebody, and this is a very silly example, that I'm trying to describe a 3-dimensional figure, and in this 3-dimensional figure, I am actually trying to explain to somebody that you have an x-axis and y-axis, and then you have a z-axis here, and I'm trying to describe that. Now, this is a bunch of gibberish, but my point was that I am illustrating something on the board, just like an instructor would do in a regular classroom. Today, what people end up doing is capturing this description as a video, but a video fundamentally lacks the ability to empower people to interact with whatever has been described. And that's what we call an object-based video. Just foundationally, that is the difference in the thinking. So this here is an object, that is an object, this is an object. So literally every element that you end up describing is an object that's automatically synchronized with your voice or video. So I can now literally, so this is my contribution, so I can now literally play this thing back in a paradigm that everybody understands, that this is a video-like description that I just attempted to articulate. But then in addition to that, after a while, this gets all filled up and possibly cluttered. So, and you don't know just by looking at this, what is it that was being said at this point in time? So why shouldn't we be able to go to this point and say, well, show me that. What was being described here, or what was being described over here? An x-axis and y-axis, and then you have a z-axis here. And I'm trying to describe that. Now, this is a bunch of gibberish, but my point was, so this becomes
that you were just playing. You were just playing the recording by the software. Yeah.
So you can now literally point anywhere and say, well, what was being described here, and who was describing that? And you now have an ability to use all kinds of modalities to express yourself. So if you choose to bring in an image and use that image as a descriptor. So let's say that this was some descriptor which I'm using as an image. So you can bring in videos, images, documents, URLs, text, handwritten stuff, geometries. I mean, anything that enables you to communicate, give meaning to your thought process can now be captured and interspersed with voice or video and contextually connected over a period of time that enables you to deliver your thought process in whatever subject matter. It doesn't matter. And the real actual example of that, we've used this foundational platform to now build and deliver very basic, foundational, deep, granular, exhaustive learning content, particularly targeted towards a very, very large, millions and millions of middle body of high school students. So they don't feel that they are left behind.
Correct.
So, for example, and I'll stop after this and encourage questions. So let's say you're an 11th grade student and you're struggling with some subject matter in mathematics. According to the syllabus that is prescribed in India, that I am now struggling with complex numbers. We have now built hundreds and hundreds of modules that attempt to describe every aspect of complex numbers, for example, in this case, that a student may be struggling with. And these complex numbers, for example, here, there are a bunch of questions that the students must be able to understand, that you can now literally go to a specific point in their learning journey. So let's just say that they're struggling with, well, how do we solve this specific equation? And I don't understand what's going on at this point or at that point. I can just literally point there and say, well, explain it to me.
B square minus 4AC. That is minus 1 square minus 4 into 1 into 2. That is 1 minus 8. So
this way, you have explained content, literally thousands and thousands of these modules in every subject matter, particularly for high school students, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade students. And those who aspire to do even better, we have done the same work for engineering test prep exams. People who want to get into engineering schools, IIT or otherwise, is what we have created. The idea is to, again, not just empower the students to be able to fill the gaps in their learning, but also do so with the ability to ask questions. As I described here, attempting to write the question in a text form is very painful. Now, imagine if somebody was asking a question in this specific subject matter that I was attempting to describe. How do you do that with text? It is literally impossible to do or to communicate your thought process that I'm struggling with this. So in this case, let's say, for example, a student is struggling with some sort of an understanding in this specific circuit. Well, how do they ask this question? How deep or relevant or irrelevant the question is, that doesn't matter. I just want to ask whatever I'm struggling with. So I should be able to do that in this platform, in this context, work with my peers, work with my seniors, work with my teachers or tutors or parents, and move from one step to the next step to the next step. And as a result, have a level of confidence that, yes, I can. Of course I can. That's the fundamental crux of the problem that we're trying to address.
Very nice.
So I'll stop here and encourage you to ask any questions and see if you feel that this is relevant to.
Thank you so much for sharing, Dinesh ji. We have a bit of a time constraint in needing to get through the rest of the material in less than half an hour. So what I could do is, if you could share your contact information with us, I think the ICSI will post it. And definitely this material will reach people who are in charge of the digital university for India through Major General Dr. Gulshan Sharma ji. He will pass it on to them. And I think there is a possibility of a great fit between the materials you've created and what digital university may offer at some point to students and to teachers who are teaching these subjects and so on and so forth. But I think the government of India can review your presentation through Major General Dr. Gulshan Sharma ji to tell us, what any questions if they have. And there are more than 1,000 people watching now. Gulshan ji just texted me that information. So that is wonderful. Thank you very much for sharing, Dinesh ji. And Gulshan ji, if there are any questions, I think Dinesh ji can take one or two questions, but after that, I would like to go to Dr. Ramvis for some further, please. Thank you. Go ahead, sir. Are there any questions, Gulshan ji?
It's wonderful, Mr. Dinesh Mehta. Thank you very much for such a valuable input. Our basic concerns still would be, first of all, let me give you good news. We have gone to 1.4K. That means 1,400 people have joined by this time. And the numbers are increasing, including a lot of our advisors from world over in different countries. They are the part of it. You can see the program live on the ICSI YouTube channel where it is going. Mr. Tyrone D. Brass, who is the advisor for the entire Northeast India on education, has also joined. And he's sending the comments. Good evening, Doc. And the three panelists, the view of Dr. Mehta's are so right. The Teachers Training College need to inculcate these ideas seriously and get back to the basics while making lesson plans. Right. That is something which Mr. Tyrone D. Brass is writing. And Roshni Beham from Arunachal Pradesh is writing, we have touched 1.5K now. Okay, so more people are joining and people are keen. Our basic concern still remains, ma'am. We are more keen how to prepare educators, how to prepare teachers, how to prepare counselors. We are not talking about any subject-specific teacher. We are talking per se, because when children are having, parents are having apprehensions, difficulties, problems, and all that when we take into consideration, our concern is we want to prepare teachers of tomorrow, because teachers are now co-learners. And when we say co-learners, how are they going to be facilitator? Because students are already keeping a pace with the time so fast. With the
Yes.
speed, the way technology is moving, I think there's a lot which has to be done. And that's why we held the deliberations the other day on the digital university as well. Our
Yes.
concern, our chamber concern, our forte, our worry is not students at all, not even 1%. Our worry is educators. Our worry
Absolutely.
is teachers. Our worry is principals. Our worry is headmasters. And there has to be a multitasking force which has to be built up, because they got to give mental wellness, physical wellness, subject wellness, economic wellness. And there has to be a purpose of education. Is it economic purpose? What kind of an opening I'm going to get it? And educational institutions got to keep a track of it now. My child, when they are passing out, where are they going? Are they becoming startup? Are they becoming entrepreneur? Are they taking employment? And world over, if the population is shrinking and wherever the population is aging, the gap has to be filled by Indian youth properly being skilled and traveling world over. I
Absolutely.
still remember in my mind when Dr. Ram sir, when he made a presentation in the thick of the pandemic, and when he came and he gave an example that haunts me now also, when he took a comparison of two countries, and that was India vis-a-vis someone else. And then he wanted to give comparison. Why will I pick up a child from there? So
Yes.
that is still haunting my mind. That is still going around. And all the time I'm thinking, how do I prepare my people? Our interest is, if India is having the largest, youngest population of the world, and there are countries, those are having challenges, why not this balance to be filled while giving necessary skills, competencies, and capabilities? That is the
Yes.
concern which we have got.
Yeah,
Please
no,
take
I
on,
couldn't-
Priya ma'am.
Yeah, I mean, just a quick comment. I couldn't agree more that that is what we ought to focus on.
Sir, we can close your presentation so that you can come live in the front. Yes.
Yeah, so I was just going to say that I couldn't agree with you more. The challenge I believe still remains that in order to train our potential instructors and the intellectual capital sitting in these heads, communication and collaboration is the foundation of that. Something that enables you to have a continuing dialogue. You know, you train somebody on a certain subject matter, whatever that subject matter may be, academic or non-academic, must be carried on as a dialogue. There must be contributions. There must be questions that must be answered by community at large. And I think that, I believe that that element is something that we really ought to focus on in order to get this momentum going, in order to create such teachers who can assist people across the world.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dinesh. It's such a very valuable presentation and so deeply appreciated by all of us and all our colleagues in India, by Major General Dr. Gulshan Sharma ji, Dr. Vis and I. I just want to briefly introduce Dr. Vis. Dr. Vis is the founder of the Viswa Group in 1991 with a doctoral degree in metallurgical engineering, master's in internal combustion engineering, and a bachelor's in marine engineering. He's known globally as the bunker guru. And Dr. Vis was a marine engineer sailing on ships, worked at the American Bureau of Shipping, and personally experienced firsthand the problems caused by poor quality fuels on ships, which led him to pursue his vision of founding Vishwa Lab, ensuring and enabling the highest energy solutions for the maritime industry. The Vishwa Group is a member of the CMAC committee, and Dr. Vis is personally on the roster of experts of the International Maritime Organization and a consultant to the United States Department of State. The Vishwa Group is considered by many to be a one-stop shop, and it is considered by the maritime industry as a comprehensive global solution provider with regard to fuel quality problems. Vishwa Group has a dedicated, dynamic entrepreneurial team of scientists, engineers, and support professionals with a long-standing 30-year reputation of technical excellence in the field of fuel oils, distillates, and so on. Dr. Vis, I would like to ask if you would like to share your thoughts on your observations of your 63-year-long career starting at your age of 19. You're 82 years old now. Could you share with us what you have observed in the change with the industrial workforce, and where there are some opportunities for super skilling or advanced skilling the teacher workforce that India has to assist in the training of this industrial workforce, please? Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And I do want to say one more thing, Dr. Vis. Major General Dr. Gulshan Sharma ji, when you have a chance, please ask Dr. Vis about the Agni missile of India, the first missile of India. Thank you very much. Please, Dr. Vis, go ahead, sir. Dr. Vis, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you
Yes,
hear
sir,
me
we
now?
can hear you now.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Okay. First of all, I want to congratulate and thank Gulshan Sharma ji for this stupendous, incredibly stupendous effort to bring all these experts together under one platform. I know he has been working ceaselessly on this, and I wonder when he is sleeping, because every day he has got programs, and it is just incredible what he has assembled. And I sincerely thank you and express my admiration of your wonderful work that you're doing. I will also focus on the point that you emphasized. The point is, how do we make sure that the teachers from India are able to go out and teach, to put it very simply?
Yes.
How do we train the trainers, train the teachers who can go out and do this? And I just collected some thoughts on that, and I will express those thoughts here. Okay. The thing about education and about technology and about what students have to know, we really don't know. We don't even know, because technology is changing so fast, and we don't even know what we don't know, as they say. We don't even know what we don't know, and we don't even know what we have to teach them. So if we don't know what to teach them, then how are we going to teach? So the educational plan itself has got to be dynamic and flexible, and we find our way as we move through it. And that is something that Dr. Kalam used to say when I was associated with him on the Agni project. He said, we don't have the ability or the money to invest in all the technologies like US does. So we have to use our common sense to see what is most likely to succeed. Only pick on those and focus our attention on what is likely. That means we wade through water without knowing what will be under our feet, what will be the depth, how will be the wind, the current. But we wade through, and using common sense, make progress, like the navigators, the ancient navigators of India, who went all over the world. And in fact, it is said that when Vasco da Gama came with his so-called big ship, he was faced by a shipping person in Gujarat who had ships about 10 times the size of his ship, which he thought was the greatest thing when he brought it from Europe to India. So anyway, the navigators of India have been able to find their way and use common sense and find solutions to the dynamic problem of this education and learning. Okay, so what should we do? So it's essentially about using common sense. And I would say that is the Indian way, because the Indian educational plan and other things have not copied Western ways blindly. We have actually thought about it, and we have evolved our own Indian way of addressing how the teaching should be imparted and how the teacher should know how to impart. And of course, one of the most important things there is communication skills. That's one of the things in the US. For English and communication, the weightage is double that of science and technology. In a way, it is okay. In a way, it's not okay. But a lot of Indian youth, they do have poor communication skills. So it's very important to make sure that they're able to speak out what they want to, what they're thinking in their mind, have the courage, have the language, have the vocabulary, and express it in a very meaningful way. And there are any number of modern technologies like virtual reality, AI, I can go on, blockchain, machine learning, so on and so forth. In this vast field of multiple options, the teacher whom we want to train should be able to choose the path and navigate towards a proper success for the student. Okay, I recently saw an interview in Asahi Shimbun. A Japanese person is being interviewed by Asahi Shimbun editor, and he's asked to compare between China and India. And I was amazed that this a Japanese person who was interviewed, he said, "Oh, India is a nation of teachers." My teacher he studied in the US. He said, my teacher was Indian. My college professor was Indian. I went to Harvard, then it is Mr. Noria who was the, I think he was, the top of the, yeah. And then he said, he went on quoting so many Indians in academic field. And he said, in some way, Indians are born teachers. That's what he said. A translation of that Japanese interview was made available to me. And I was really impressed with the way how the Japanese are viewing this. This is just 3 days before the Japanese Prime Minister came and announced that he was going to give some $42 billion for India. Okay. Now, we have, let's say we have that ingrained skill. We have the, we develop the communication skills. And I think then we will have to only tell them that just like you tell your daughter in those days, I mean, not today, when you got your daughter married off and you sent her to the in-laws' house, you will tell your daughter, now, dear, it's all your skill. You have to find your way. We are not going to be there to help you. You're going to meet situations which you're not used to, and they're going to be new. You have to use your common sense, and you have to find your way to navigate through the in-law situation, your new husband situation, your children, and so on. That's how they sent their daughters to their in-laws' house. That is the way we should train our teachers, in a way that they have the communication power, the thinking capability to find out, because we really don't know 5 years from now what we should teach them. Okay, all the aids that we are producing, this has got to be changed almost on a year-by-year basis. This is the only main point I wanted to share with you, and I've had the benefit of working with some very eminent people and seen how they are thinking. And it's mostly guided by very simple common sense. So if you come to a crossroad, which road do you choose? Don't take the wrong road. It'll be too long and you'll never reach your destination. So where do you choose? Then come to the next crossroad. Where do you choose? So this kind of logical, common sense based training should be given to our teachers and trainers, so that when they go out and become teachers in the world, and in this changing dynamic situation, they will know how to do it. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gulshan Sharma, for bringing all this to the forefront, to the knowledge of everyone. Over. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I wish to convey my deep gratitude and thanks to sir. It's always a treat to listen to him, each and every word what he conveys. And it was indeed a great pleasure last time also when he had come and he gave wonderful case study where he talked about Japan, he talked about Philippines, he talked about Germany. I have not forgotten each and every word I remember. And that particular video I watched 3-4 times. It's a great learning. Meanwhile, I got a couple of questions which I'll share. That will be later on, which we can take. But by the time, Dr. PRIYA ma'am, I would make a humble request.
Yes.
We should not be focusing only on subject-specific teachers. Rather, let's take a broad spectrum, world over, whatever is needed, wherever it is needed, India should be in a position to fill those gaps. That is the way we should work out, because physical health, mental health, spiritual health, one of the survey we have carried out in 131 countries, and all the advisors have sent a report to us. When we asked, would you like to come for higher education to India? They say, well, the BA, the BCom, the BSc, the management and engineering, it's available everywhere. We would be more than happy to come if there is a post-graduation in spiritual part of it, where I can remain young, I can remain fit, I can look after my health, I can look after my wellness, I can look after my mental faculty. So I think that is also to be taken into consideration. I would request you to take the vision forward. And once again, from the Northeast, there is a comment which is coming, because Northeast is one area of the India where we need better connectivity. We need a better digital connectivity. We need better devices. We need a lot to be done. And coming from the armed forces, if we do not bring them in the main fold, we would lose them. We got to have them on board with us. So he is writing, we as teachers need to stimulate curiosity among our students and encourage them to speak up in the classroom. That's what somebody is writing from the Northeast. So well, we will take it forward. Dr. PRIYA ma'am, all yours.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Vis, for sharing your wisdom and insight. Deeply, deeply appreciate every time you share. I learn so much. And while Gulshan ji is collecting the questions, I just want to go to the very specific task that Gulshan ji had articulated before, which is how do we prepare our teachers' workforce that is so large to do things that the country needs or all the world needs with this amount of 5 years of post-high school education that they have, BA or BCom, BEd. So 3 years of a bachelor's degree in a subject like arts or commerce and 2 years of education degree. How do we employ them gainfully or super skill them so that their skill set is globally in demand? So to answer that, I just wanted to talk about a little bit about just one sentence about my background. I am the director of the Immortality Institute in Houston, Texas, and also the founder of the Vishwa Institute of Higher Education, where we are on track to give 2 PhDs a year in a subject called regenerance that the Immortality Institute has created, and the intersection of regenerance and entrepreneurship. So definitely higher education. And what I would like to show is a little bit about mental health problems in India. This was a subject that Gulshan ji had asked me to address in this presentation. So please bear with me as I briefly address this. 14.5% of the entire population of India has mental health problems. 47 million have depression and 49 million people have anxiety. The pandemic has made it much worse. And some populations were reporting 20% more incidents. So almost 1/3 of the population had mental health problems. According to the WHO, the economic loss of GDP annually to India from mental health conditions that are not treated is more than $1 trillion US. So it's a huge problem, very substantially unaddressed by mainstream medicine, which is Western medicine, substantially unaddressed until recently, until 2017 by the government of India. They've instituted a central a mental health fund, and there are 2 institutions. NIMHANS is one in Bangalore, and there's another institution in North India that they have funded to the extent of about $80 million per year to provide mental health care for the entire population. So this is what is available. Unfortunately, as you can imagine, with having just one institution in each half of the country, there is not much outreach to patients who actually need this. And we have the skilled teacher population. So I wanted to talk about something called Neuro Coaching. So we can get this Neuro Coaching training delivered through the Digital University of India in a 3-month period. And what this Neuro Coaching can do is it will prepare the teacher to deal with their own internal health related issues, but then to teach it to students, to teach it and to use it as a tool in their teacher's toolkit to help students that are struggling and suffering with mental health problems that are resulting in average or poor performance in class or other sorts of behaviors, disruptive behaviors, absenteeism, and so on. So stress is the #1 killer in the world. It is a 21st century health epidemic. After studying hundreds of people for 30 years or more, Duke University found that negativity takes away 2 years of life and dramatically lowers life satisfaction. And 75 to 90% of all visits to a primary care physician in a country like the United States is due to stress. So you see, it's a very big problem that nobody likes to talk about because it is assumed that there is no easy solution for it. How do you eliminate stress in your life? Even if you take away the job, even if you take away the nagging wife or husband, the children that are sick all the time, the parents-in-law that you have to take care of, a person can still remain stressed. So there is something called resilience. And there was a pediatric professor by the name of Dr. Martin Seligman who said that you can inoculate a person's brain with optimism when they're a very young child to develop something called resilience. He actually used the word vaccinate. So that is the concept behind this neuro coaching. We teach our teachers how to inoculate the child's brain with optimism, how to deal with the different traumas, like the trauma of a pandemic. Maybe the child lost a grandparent in the pandemic. Maybe the child's friend lost a parent. Maybe the child's teacher was sick and away from school for 3 months because of illness. So what this does is it helps the teacher show the student how to identify meaning and purpose during times of uncertainty and explore their worries in a mindful dialogue with others. Particularly for older children, we are talking about for young children, we have to have other techniques. How to explore their worries in a mindful dialogue with others, how to fight this pandemic anxiety with emotional placebos, and then how to write it down and will it away. And so there are many techniques. Surprise is one, awe is one, curiosity is one. Brain-based neurosciences techniques to battle burnout and rapidly reduce stress, and how to go from chaos in the mind to crystal clarity, how to grow when we experience major life-threatening losses, how to transform painful memories into fuel for charging and hypercharging ourselves, how to develop leadership and self-esteem. So all this we are teaching the teacher in a 3-month neuro coaching program, which they can attend the class for a week or so, for a few hours, and then at the end of it, they will not only be able to deal with all of these problems of trauma, rejection, what is the meaning of failure, how to overcome these things, how to turn all this into fuel that fires us up so we have the energy and the enthusiasm to keep going without getting bogged down. This is a gift not only to the teachers through the digital university, but all of the students that they subsequently teach. And this will definitely differentiate our teachers from teachers all over the world. So this is a large thing. Now there is a model for this to also generate income independently of being employed by a school. And I will share with you the model for that through another coaching program that we also have access to, that we are happy to bring to the Digital University of India, and that is called Cellular Health Coaching. So I just wanted to talk about that. And then, if you look at the 1.4 billion population, the need for neuro coaches is at least 100,000 people, and mental health counselors and coaches is another 600,000 people. Now we're talking about jobs for these. If we're graduating 20 lakh teachers or, 20 lakh teachers a year, but we only need 3 lakh teachers a year, then the 17 lakh additional teachers are a huge human resource. They are a positive, they are a strength to our country, like your ICSI has correctly identified, sir. So some of them can be trained as neuro coaches, some of them can be trained as mental health counselors and coaches, not just for school students, but also for the adult population. Now I want to talk about kidney disease. This is my area. It is the prevalence of this is 17% of the country's population, or around 226 million people. There are only 800 nephrologists in India. There could be as many as 1,500 or as few as 200 active nephrologists, or one nephrologist per 226,000 kidney failure patients or kidney disease patients. Many of these 226 million people are in advanced chronic kidney disease stages that require dietary counseling. The dietary counseling training for them to become a dietary coach for kidney failure patients, for example, this could be a 4 to 6 month program, and we have the world authorities who have published papers and studied patients here who can provide this for these school teachers that need jobs. Once they take this training for 4 to 6 months, then we need about 45,000 of these teachers to become kidney dietary coaches in India to educate this 226 million people. Actually, we need a lot more, but if you look at the advanced stages of kidney failure, it will be a fraction of this. So that is where this 45,000 number is coming from. I can also talk about diabetes. One third of the population of India has diabetes. So that is, if we take 1.4 billion as the population, that is 462 million people have diabetes. If we have, let us say we have, that is 462 million, which is 4,620 lakhs. So in terms of crores, Dr. Vis, maybe you can help me with that. It's 4,620 lakh people in India have diabetes. So if we put one diabetic counselor for each 1,000 patients with diabetes, that will be 62,000 diabetic educators. That is 4,62,000. So there is another 4,62,000 jobs just as a diabetic counselor. Then somebody that does diabetic diet education. So diabetic counseling is about what is the disease of diabetes, what is type 1 if they're a child that has diabetes, what is type 2 if they're an adult, what are the types in between, what does high sugar cause in the long run, in the short run, what should you avoid, what should you do, how should you measure your sugars, just the general education about what diabetes is as a disease. We can train 462,000 of these teachers. That is 4,62,000 of these teachers can become diabetic educators and counselors. An equal number, 4,62,000 teachers can be trained to become diabetic diet educators. Which food substances are preferred? Which supplements are the best? What are some diet and exercise? So now you can see how these jobs are adding up. The mental health coaches and neuro coaches, this was already 7 lakh jobs. This kidney disease diet coach, 45,000 jobs. And this diabetes educator and diabetes counselor on one side, diabetes diet and activity coach on the other side, that's another 462,000, 4,62,000 plus 4,62,000 jobs. That is already 9 lakh plus jobs. So these teachers can be fully absorbed just in India itself with this additional training of these courses that can be offered through digital university. Now I'm also sharing things like life coaches. We can have 6 lakh life coaches. We can have coronary artery disease diet coaches, 2 lakhs of them. We can have, functional aging coaches, people who teach how to age without breaking a bone, without falling, without needing too much help from family members or society. Physical fitness assessment and training coaches. We can have 5 lakhs of those. Then, we talked about other things, mindfulness, spirituality, parenting, children, and other things. These are all causes of health-related, mental health-related troubles. Parenting coaches, at least 2 lakhs. Family and conflict resolution coaches, 3 lakhs. So when we count the number of jobs that we can create with our teacher workforce and giving them 3 to 6 months of additional training, only 3 to 6 months additional training, we are looking at creating about 20 lakh jobs by these individual coaching. And there are at least another 200 categories of coaching that can add another 10 lakh jobs to this list. And all of this training can be provided by the Digital University of the Government of India. So here are some more jobs: women and reproductive health coaches, pregnancy, childbirth, infancy, and doula coaches, elder care and nursing coaches, men's health coaches. We can teach coaches how to do longevity coaching, happiness quotient assessment, personality assessment and interpersonal interaction coach, strengths and values coach, success coaching. And if they have some sensory deficit, like if they're hard of hearing or if they're disabled with speech or something, we can have those kinds of trainings also. They're visually impaired. We can have people coach people on their weight, grief to gratitude, caregiver, medical health care, trauma coaching. So, and then this International Coaching Federation, based on the number of hours of experience after the training that they have, they can be classified as associate professional or master coaches. Hours of training plus hours of experience. That is the hours of experience part that can also be converted into, that's also learned on the job. It doesn't have to be as an internship. It can be whatever learning they have on the job, they can immediately get qualified through this federation. Now, I also wanted to show you briefly the cellular health coaching, which can you see this? This is provided to us by Dr. Gary Samuelson. I don't know if you can see this. Just 1 second.
We can see, sister, we can see.
Okay, great. So cellular health coaching, for example, is a user's manual for the human body. So this is how to handle the human body so that it does not get diseased, it does not fall sick, it does not age rapidly. There are many approaches to this. In India, yoga and meditation have for very long reversed aging and kept the body strong and well and healthy. This is a Western approach to it. And this is provided to us by Dr. Gary Samuelson. Now, here, again, we can have at least 1 million or 10 lakh cellular health coaches for the population of India. So, this is to use nature to prevent people from acquiring disease. We could actually train 100,000 or 1 lakh qualified cellular health coaches in less than 2 years, and in 3 years, 10 lakhs, and give them all jobs also. So this is Dr. Gary Samuelson and his wife, Iris. She is a very dear friend of mine, and he is too. This is their modules. They have a science-based modules, personalized coaching, and then they do the certified coach training. So it's 4 months, 2 days a week, 2 hours each day. He teaches these online modules that have everything from hydration, nutrition, how do you get enough oxygen, sleep, exercise, how do you change your beliefs, attitudes, or identify the flawed ones, how do you learn, how do you choose your goals, how do you lead a balanced life, and how do you take action to achieve your goals. And then the second part is really understanding what a coach's job is. This, if you look at these coaches' heart values, you see these are the same values that teachers have that attracts them to the profession. Be curious, be patient, be considerate, practice integrity, share joy, touch hearts with authenticity, get the greatness and power out of the student, out of them. Listen deeply, ask powerful questions, turn off judgment, observe with the heart, motivate, show sincerity, add real value, be considerate, right? And then this was a way that he suggested that it could actually be a self-employment structure. So, for example, there is a so-called basic cellular health coach. Each basic cellular health coach can coach 10 students. Now, 10 students, each student will pay about $300 and take this 4-month course. So, the coach will receive 1/3, 30, one third of that. So the coach will, if each student pays 300 and there are 10 students, that's a $3,000, and the coach will receive $900 for every 6-week period of training. So that is the basic coach. Then you have the certified coaches who have completed internship part also, that is the 4th month, and they can support 10 of these 20 of these basic coaches with 10 students each, and they will get a certain percentage. They'll get 50% of what these people make. Then these master coaches can support 100 of these certified coaches, and there is all this support. So this is how, even let's say the first 100 or 500 teachers that we train can go on and train the other teachers, and there will be this sort of income generation going on. So this is eminently doable. We can train 10 lakh coaches who can, instead of increasing the number of medical college seats, which we can never increase it to the number of, for example, nephrologists. I was trying to share with you how there are only 800 nephrologists for 226 million Indians with kidney disease. In order to get the correct number of nephrologists, we would have to increase the number of medical colleges and junior and senior residency programs by 10,000 times. Is that possible? No, but we can use these teachers who already have so much of training. We can give them the correct coaching certification program in the most condensed and succinct way that utilizes their full brain and all their knowledge and already the development that has occurred in their brain to propel them to a level where no other teacher anywhere on the planet can match their skills. And then once they start teaching Indian students, be they in school or be they adult education, adult learning, like patients with diabetes or kidney failure, now you have a coaching certification that they can also have from International Coaching Federation. And teachers who are coaches are very, very rare to come by. Very rare to come by. Just as an example, I will tell you, in the United States today, I just learned today that there are over 500,000, 5.5 lakh teacher jobs that are vacant today in the United States. And that number is projected to get much worse over the next 4 to 5 years because a lot of teachers are retiring after the pandemic. They don't want to have to deal with that reality. Now imagine a highly qualified teacher from India with the coaching certification in addition, they apply. There is no way these schools would say no to such highly qualified teachers. That's my humble opinion. I'm also reaching out to politicians and other people, but I hope this helps share my enthusiasm for this kind of invaluable gold that India has in the form of teachers. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. It was indeed a great pleasure to hear the distinguished guest this morning, all the way early morning from United States, because Sunday we dedicate to our brothers and sisters in United States and overseas in different countries, wherever they are. So having heard Mr. Mehta, having heard Dr. Ram sir, having heard you, 3-4 things which emerge. Number one, digital education and digital solution is the future. India has got few challenges. We have got quantity. We need quality. We need speed. We have to adapt technology. We have to run very fast. And we have to bring sustainability, equity, equality, empathy, and we have to reach the last mile, the last student in the country. Absolutely. And that is possible only through technology. Mm-hmm. Once again, before we close today's session, I wish to re-endorse, even if we have to do 2 or 3 more programs, let's see next Sunday, next to next Sunday, I'm ready to dedicate. We want to draw a proper roadmap, a proper chronology, and we wish to submit to Government of India related to how to empower educators. And then we have to draw the global roadmap, because now it's a global village. Nobody is living in isolation. We all are living together. Irrespective where you are, we are well connected any point of time, all point of times. So challenge is, we need a pragmatic approach. Even if your organization can give some solution for digital university as well, valuable inputs, I can put it across. I can put it across to Professor Anil Sastrabudheji, who chaired the first session and who drawn the complete, the content and the roadmap with regard to digital education, digital university deliberations as a chairman of the AICT, All India Council of Technical Education. UGC chairman also gave their valuable inputs. Secretary, Higher Education, Government of India, K. Sanjay Murthy ji, he was also there, and other dignitaries. Now coming to school education, because the teachers to whom we are going to train, they are with regard to school education. Over there, once again, what kind of a collaboration, what kind of a communication, what kind of technology, how much technology, where all technology, and how do we move in further into that is something very important, which we would like to take the journey forward. Absolutely. I think today we have taken the first step with you, with your organization, with your setup. We would like to draw more segments where all opportunities are available, and globally wherever the population is aging, because at present the scenario is there are 19,000 B.Ed colleges in India. 20 lakh teachers are getting trained every year.
Wow.
Requirement in India is that of 3 lakh. There is a surplus pool of 17 lakh, which have to be strategically channelized. How many will become startup? How many will come up in EdTech platform? How many will adopt another technology route where they are self-employed? How many would like to work in India? How many would like to go overseas? That is the complete roadmap and the package we would like to draw with your efforts.
Wonderful, sir. Yes, it's a wonderful idea. I have one step to suggest, sir, to go forward.
Sure, sure.
You have a database you had mentioned of 15 million teachers already, but starting with the Northeast sector. With your permission and blessing, I would like to conduct a one-question survey of at least maybe a few hundred of these teachers. And the one question will be, if you could learn anything in addition to what you have already learned, what additional subject would you like to learn in a short period of time provided to you online, digitally, for 3 to 6 months? That will qualify and differentiate you. I would like to learn what their interest is in, and we can also give them some options, and we would like to get them to express their thoughts on why they think that they need to take training in this. And that will give us some a really good sort of a pH test to see how much their interest level is, what their interests generally are in, and then give the solution depending, that corresponds to their interest level, rather than us telling them, if you do this, you will get a job, and then boom. But let's see if we can get you a job in what you're interested in. So let's find out what they're interested in, and we can put that in the proposal to the Government of India if you would like.
Thank you very much. Your suggestion, ma'am. Next week, Sunday, we can take these deliberations further, and we can further discuss on that. We can bring some more stats, inputs, and innovative strategies for you. And then further we can work on to it, because everybody will not be interested to work overseas. Everybody will not be interested to work even in India. Some of them may feel like taking and starting their own venture. We'll try and keep all options open. Absolutely. Like three opportunities and three segments we have to see. You work
Okay.
overseas, you work in India, or you start your own venture, whatever is to be done. So with
Exactly.
these words, once again, my deep gratitudes and thanks to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you very much for sparing your most valuable time. And thank you very much for your valuable, wonderful inputs. We would be more than happy. And all the speakers, those are coming, they can share their personal slide, they can share their web portal, they can share their email, they can share their contact number. Let them get promoted, because people are today world over very smart. They would like to pick up from the basket that fruit which suits their health. Let them have the nutrition of their own choice. So with these words, wishing you all a wonderful day ahead. Thank you very much for sparing your most valuable time. So ladies and gentlemen, world over, it's a green morning, green afternoon, and a green evening. And we are moving ahead. Our focus is Indian educators, our teachers, our future force, which is to be built for the global skills, local skills, and self skills